You're setting up a therapy space, budget in hand, staring at catalogs. Do you load up on pegboards and lacing toys? Or do you invest in climbers and balance beams? Today, we're tackling a question every pediatric therapist wrestles with: fine motor versus gross motor equipment. Which one deserves priority?
Right, and honestly, it's not as straightforward as people think. Both skill sets are essential, but they serve completely different purposes. Fine motor skills. Those are the small, precise movements using hands and fingers. Think grasping, buttoning, writing, using utensils. Gross motor skills, on the other hand, use large muscle groups for whole-body movements like running, climbing, jumping, and balancing.
And I've heard that gross motor abilities often develop earlier in children. Does that influence how we should stock a therapy room?
It does give us a framework. Gross motor control typically emerges first and provides a foundation, core strength, balance, posture, that supports hand skills down the line. But here's what's important. Both are interconnected. Equipment like low climbers, tunnels, stepping stones, and balance beams build that core strength and bilateral coordination, which actually underlie things like posture and handwriting. You're building the whole child.
Hmm, interesting. So even though the timeline suggests one comes before the other, you really can't afford to neglect either area.
Exactly. Fine motor work is equally critical. Therapist-curated activities emphasize graded grasp, bilateral coordination, in-hand manipulation, and precision practice. We're talking busy boards, shape sorters, pegboards, lacing, building blocks, putty, tongs, and stringing beads. These target hand strength, dexterity, hand-eye coordination, and visual motor integration that kids need for dressing, tool use, and pre-writing skills.
So it sounds like the real answer is balance. You need both in your therapy space.
Definitely. The most effective approach is pairing a gross motor circuit with fine motor stations. You address both precision and whole-body movement efficiently. For example, you might have stepping stones, a mini trampoline, and a small climber on one side. Then nearby, you have fine motor stations with busy boards and peg work.
That point about pairing circuits and stations sets up our next piece: how to actually integrate these in practice. But first, a quick word from our sponsor.
Little People's Cove provides durable, commercial-grade tools designed specifically for pediatric therapy. Our educational products are built to last, backed by strong warranties, and curated to truly support development. You'll get real, personal guidance to match the right tools to your therapeutic goals. Therapists tell us their young clients love coming back because the products are so engaging, and the quality means more time for real breakthroughs. Learn more at littlepeoplescove.com.
Picking up on pairing circuits and stations, how do you creatively design activities that combine both skill sets in one session?
Great question. One of my favorite strategies is designing mini obstacle courses that end or begin with a fine motor task. So a child might climb, crawl through a tunnel, balance across a beam, and then complete a puzzle piece, clip clothespins, or trace a path at the finish.
I love that. You're working on motor planning and endurance with the gross motor piece, then immediately shifting to hand control.
Exactly, and there's multi-skill equipment too. Think activity panels mounted on climber platforms or low walls. The panel itself offers finger work, zippers, latches, gears, while the structure demands climbing, balancing, and position changes. Kids work fine and gross motor skills in one compact footprint. I actually had a preschooler once who refused to leave the clinic because he was so fascinated by the gears on one of those panels. His mom had to promise he could come back the next day.
Ha! That's the dream, right? When kids don't want therapy to end, what about equipment that requires sustained grip? Does that bridge the two categories?
Oh, absolutely. Motion play equipment like swings, seesaws, and climbers naturally challenge gross motor control, but some designs also require sustained grip, giving secondary fine motor input. Ropes, handholds, rings, scooter boards, push and pull toys, all of these make kids practice grip strength and hand coordination while they're moving.
So you're layering the benefits. Have you ever wondered what your therapy space would look like if every piece of equipment served double duty like that?
That's the goal, really. You want to create zones that still talk to each other, a movement path for big bodies, plus nearby stations for hands-on work that use the same themes, materials, or props. Use floor tape, rugs, low shelving as visual boundaries so children understand where running and climbing is okay and where slower, seated play happens.
Right. Reducing collisions and noise spillover. And for therapists working with toddlers versus early elementary, does the equipment mix change?
Definitely. For toddlers in preschool, you might focus on busy boards, shape sorters, peg boards, stepping stones, a mini trampoline, and a low climber. For school-age kids, you'd layer in block and build systems, lacing and fasteners, visual motor kits, plus balance beams, swings, and motion equipment for coordination and endurance.
And we should have mentioned the variety of activities that work too. For fine motor, things like using tongs to pick up small objects, manipulating putty for hand strengthening, or drawing and mark making. For gross motor, dancing, playing games, or even wheelbarrow walking can be great additions.
Absolutely. The key is providing daily opportunities to build balance and coordination. That's the gross motor side, while also practicing grasp, hand-eye coordination, and visual motor skills through manipulatives and table activities. In other words, you're giving kids regular practice with both large muscle work and fine hand control. Fine motor toys improve hand-eye coordination, dexterity, and precision, strengthening small muscles for tasks like writing and managing personal care. Gross motor play equipment builds strength, coordination, balance, posture, and endurance through whole body movement and heavy work play.
I see, go on.
And remember, effective gross motor skills are important for developing fine motor skills. You can't separate the two. It's a joined-up approach. Start with the foundation, layer in precision work, and watch the breakthroughs happen.
So, to everyone listening, whether you're a therapist, an educator, or a parent, the takeaway is this. Both fine and gross motor skills are essential for a child's independence and success. You need equipment that supports large muscle foundations and the tools that refine hand control. When you invest in both, you're giving kids the full developmental picture.
Couldn't have said it better.
That's a perfect place to wrap. Thanks so much for walking us through this today.
My pleasure. Always happy to talk shop about equipment that makes a real difference. Don't forget to stop by Little People's Cove for therapy quality tours.